new beginning from Father Yah, given to the Son of Man, Dr. Hendo I.L. Henderson. He is Yehoshua Mashiach. This is given to you for full understanding of where we are in history and Yah's end for the new beginning. Yah being the creator of heaven and earth, the YHWH. In the early 1980s, Dr. Hendo I.L. Henderson went to the courthouse in Webster Parish, Louisiana, to pull documents of mineral rights that were taken out of his family's land of 200,000 acres in Webster Parish. That was over the course of 100 years. These mineral rights were stolen by such corporations as Exxon Oil, Standard Oil, American Oil, BP, also known as British Petroleum, Chevron Oil, Texaco Oil, Southwestern Bell Telephone, which is now known as AT&T, Steve Madden Incorporated, Halliburton, Hibernia Bank, Bank of America, the Global Central Banks, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Internal Revenue Service, all financial institutions under any federal system deemed democratic ran by a Republican system. The families of Romanoff, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Roosevelt, and yes, even Elon Musk, among others. Also, theft of a family recipe for Coca-Cola was stolen by a Mr. Pepperton who used this said family recipe to build the Coca-Cola Corporation. When all was said and done, adding all the mineral rights up at current value, it came to $875 billion in U.S. dollars. With interest accrued since the year of 2000, the trust is valued over $900 trillion. This was set up as the World Trust. Dr. Henderson, having proven to the world through his verified family lineage and blood DNA RNA that he is of the bloodline of the true royal family of this planet through King David and is of the tribe of Judah. Judah has always been the lawgivers. Dr. Henderson is the proven heir of the covenant of salt given by our Creator Yah to King David and his heirs forever. This covenant states that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and he gave it to his children through King David and his children's children forever. Doctor is the proven heir of this covenant. Thus, he has the right to use the assets of this planet to restore mankind. Dr. Henderson understood that all corporations fell under the control of the Vatican, and that also includes all 501c3 non-profit religious institutions, regardless of faith. And that the colonial system under Britain was part of this system, as well as the U.S. corporation, which was incorporated in 1871. Therefore, the U.S. is not a government, but has been a corporation since that time. And they were the enforcement arm of both the Vatican and the colonial system of Britain. Therefore, Dr. Henderson filed a lawsuit against all three: the Vatican, the Crown of England, and the U.S. corporation. And the suit stated that they could not file bankruptcy to get out of paying him. It also stated that it was being brought to the World Court on behalf of all righteous people of this planet. As an individual was not able to take a case to the World Court at that time, the King of Sudan agreed to take his case to the Hague Court in the Netherlands in 1999. In a ruling of 14-1 in Dr. Henderson's favor, a determination was made in the year of 2000. It had to go uncontested 5 years before becoming a final judgment. That judgment was made final in 2005. Shortly thereafter, the U.S. corporation filed bankruptcy. Since that time, as all 198 nations had lawsuits against the same three entities of the Vatican, Crown of England, and the U.S. corporation for war crimes, human rights abuses, genocide, etc., they signed on to Doctor's lawsuit as a class action. The 198 nations recognized what Dr. Henderson had done on their behalf, and he was seated as the ad hoc Chief Justice of the Universal World Court on June 28, 2010. In addition, because of Doctor's proven desire and ability to restore mankind, the 5 nations of the UN Security Council, the US, UK, Russia, France, and Japan, have submitted their militaries as the enforcement arm of the Universal World Court and are currently engaged in the destruction of bioweapons labs, sex trafficking rings, pedophile rings, drug trafficking rings, and those that have perpetrated human rights abuses and genocide via even known so-called vaccines. On October the 15th of 2012, the World Court tried both the Vatican and the false Crown of England on 2 charges. We call them the false Crown of England because William of Orange stole the crown from the true royal family in 1688. Dr. Henderson's great-great-grandfather was King Henry VII, the last true royal of the tribe of Judah on that throne. So those 2 charges were global financial terrorism and human sex trafficking. They were found guilty on both charges, and on February 1st of 2013, Pope Benedict stepped down, not because of what was given to the public through the media as being health reasons, but because he was under house arrest. At the same time, Queen Elizabeth was under house arrest, and of course we have seen the chaos of her family as members have been charged with pedophilia, and even her grandsons have had to go find themselves common jobs to support their families as their stolen assets, what they stole from mankind, have been seized. When George Bergoglio, commonly known as Pope Francis, was seated, he never took the true position of Pope and has not even worn all of the papal garments. Again, the Vatican has been dead since the year of 2000. 1 month later, on March the 1st of 2013, the master sequester came down from Dr. Henderson and the global fiduciary to sequester all assets that the Vatican and false Crown of England and U.S. corporation had stolen from the 198 nations. Within the U.S., on October the 4th of 2013, under House Joint Resolution 85 of the 113th Congress, under Section 101B2, the Master Sequester became the budgetary authority for the U.S. budget. The point of the sequester was to return to mankind what was stolen from them over the course of the last 1,000 years. During this whole time, up to this point, the West's system, which is nothing more than the old Babylonian system of Satan and Lucifer, has been dead, and the results of the collapse is what we are seeing today. So where does it bring us to this point? Revelation 18, the fall of Babylon the Great. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with his glory. And he cried mightily with a loud voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached to heaven, and Yah has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double, according to her works. In the cup which she has mix double for her. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, in the same measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit as queen, and am no widow, and will not see sorrow. Therefore her plagues will come in one day, death and mourning and famine." And of course now Queen Elizabeth is dead. "And she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yah who judges her." So this system of corruption is now fallen and dead. We as mankind have been paying our tithes and offerings regardless of faith into a Luciferian system without knowledge in most cases. Because 60% of our tithes and offerings that go into any religious institution of a 501c3, 60% goes to the Vatican and 40% to the false crown of England. So therefore, we of mankind have funded the human sex trafficking rings, pedophile rings, drug trafficking rings, adrenochrome harvesting, and war crimes through our tithes and offerings. This is horrific. Therefore is stated in verse 4, where it says, "And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, and lest you receive of her plagues." We must come out of that system. So now what are we to do as Father Yah, our Creator's children, if we are true believers? We're still required to bring our tithes and offerings to Him for the benefit of His children on this planet, according to ecclesiastical law. We have the truth and our instructions in the book of Malachi. Malachi 3 says, "Behold, I send my messenger." That would be Dr. Hendo I.L. Henderson, Yahushua Mashiach. "And he will prepare the way before me. And the Lord Yah, whom you seek, will suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, in whom you delight. Behold, he is coming." Now, family, he is here. Malachi 3 continues, "But who can endure the day of his coming? And who can stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire and like a launderer's soap. He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He will purge the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then the offering of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasant to the Lord, as in the days of old, as in former years. And I will come near you for judgment. I will be a swift witness against sorcerers, against adulterers, against perjurers, against those who exploit wage earners, and widows and orphans, and against those who turn away an alien, because they do not fear me, says the Lord of hosts. For I am the Lord, I do not change. Therefore you are not consumed, O sons of Jacob. Yet from the days of your fathers you have gone away from my ordinances, and have not kept them. Return to me, and I will return to you, says the Lord of hosts. But you said, in what way shall we return? Will a man rob Yah? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, in what way have we robbed you? In tithes and offerings. You are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. And try me now in this, says the Lord of hosts. If I will not open for you the windows of heaven, and pour out for you such a blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it. And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, so that he will not destroy the fruit of your ground, nor shall the vine fail to bear fruit for you in the field, says the Lord of hosts. And all nations will call you blessed, for you will be a delightful land, says the Lord of hosts. So now, family, because of the lawsuit in which all nations signed on to as a class action, the governments of this planet have come upon the shoulders of Dr. Hendo I.L. Henderson, the ad hoc Chief Justice of the Universal World Court. He is Yehoshua Mashiach, the Son of Man. Therefore there is no other place to bring your tithes and offerings but unto Yah's Son. As the lawsuit was brought on behalf of mankind, the Son of Man, Yehoshua Mashiach, Dr. Hendo I.L. Henderson, has fulfilled Malachi 3 by providing the storehouse from which all mankind will be blessed. Therefore bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and try me now, if I will not open for you the windows of heaven, and pour out for you a blessing that there will not be room enough to receive it, says Yah. So, how does this practically apply to your life? If you do not identify yourself through indexing, you will not be recognized in Father Yah's kingdom. Period. The global reset is the catalyst for redeeming back to mankind what was stolen from them. This is done through the new asset-backed, clean monetary system. So what happens at the reset? The global reset is wiping off the books everything that is connected to the old fiat monetary system. That includes any mortgages, credit card debts, student loans, car loans, nations loans, etc. This is the Jubilee that is written into ecclesiastical law. It also shuts down all fiat currency as the new monetary system is asset-backed. Therefore, if you are not identified at the time of the reset, you will find your accounts empty of all fiat, which never had any value as it was backed by nothing. Identifying yourselves places you in a position to redeem back to you the amount in store value credit that was stolen from your ancestors' hands over the course of the last 1,000 years. So if you would, go to the top of the page for the SOVCPR.com for instructions on how to identify yourself through indexing to receive your restoration and redemption. For those of you wanting to bring tithes and offerings to Father Yah's storehouse, you may submit them through the Bathsheba and Esther Trust, which is being used to restore and redeem mankind. This is the new beginning. And as we go forward, this is where Father Yah will wipe away our tears, and we will see no more sickness, disease, or death.